Hello and welcome to the Late Life Lesbian. On this channel, I share support and resources and videos to help women who have realized that they're truly lesbians while in relationships or married to men and are seeking help and guidance and support to embrace their true selves, to come out and live as they truly are. So my name is Emily and I am a late life lesbian myself. I was married to a man for 11 years, had a son with him, but ultimately realized I was a lesbian. We got divorced, I came out, and I am now remarried to the woman of my dreams. So in this video, I'm going to discuss and go over a very common question that I get from people outside of this situation. And that question is, how can you suddenly just realize you're a lesbian? How did you not know? How did you not know you were a lesbian? So there's actually a lot of reasons for that. And this is a very real, legitimate thing. So many women that I've talked to and worked with and connected with through my journey have all gone through the same thing. So reasons why you don't realize your true sexuality earlier on is often due to upbringing, how you were raised. And a lot of that upbringing has to do even with religion. If you have some type of religious background that you were raised with, where you were essentially even taught or preached that homosexuality was wrong, this becomes sort of ingrained in your mind and in your life of thinking, oh, well, clearly that couldn't be me. And another factor of that is compulsory heterosexuality. It's a mouthful to say. Compulsory heterosexuality. It's this idea that society has created that by nature we are all just supposed to be straight, heterosexual. And that, kind of by default, that's what everybody is or should be. And so with society's idea of that, we're kind of born into this mindset that straight is just the way it's supposed to be. And that also plays a factor into our upbringing and how we were raised by our parents, that it's just sort of this given that, a girl gets a boyfriend or a boy gets a girlfriend. And that's just the way conversation is structured and the way that society presents relationships. And so that's just how we're raised. And so we just think that's how it is. Even if we might have different feelings or not feel the same level of connection, we don't know what that is because we've been raised and brought up in a way that just says, a woman's supposed to be with a man. And then another factor of this is heteronormativity. It's very similar to compulsory heterosexuality, but heteronormativity says, again, being straight, heterosexual is the normal way to be. That's just the normal society. And the way that people view it is that man should be with a woman and woman should be with a man. And that's just the norm. Like that being heterosexual is normal. So that plays again into our upbringing and when we're going through puberty and coming into being young adults, a lot of the things that we're surrounded with are just that being heterosexual is the normal way to be. So, and then the other thing that is often a factor in this is exposure, due to being raised in a way, due to potentially having religious upbringings, due to being brought up that being straight is just the right way to be. A lot of times, many of us don't actually have any exposure to homosexuality or queer relationships. And so we never even saw or witnessed or talked about that even being an option. So again, that plays into the idea and the mindset growing up and starting to date that being with somebody of the same sex just isn't really even an option because we never saw it or experienced it or talked about it. So exposure plays a role in that. And then finally, people pleasing. A lot of us that go through this have been raised in a way that we feel we need to meet everyone else's needs, that we need to make sure everyone else is taken care of, and that we've been taught to sort of put our own needs aside to make sure that everyone else is taken care of. And this is sometimes even just the pressure that women are put on and put under in general, that, we're the mom and the caregiver and the caretaker, and, we have all of this pressure to just sort of be this sort of like superwoman and take care of everybody else and just sort of put our needs on the back burner. And so that kind of perpetuates this cycle of continuing to just make sure everybody else is taken care of and not really ever stopping to look at, what do I want? What do I need? And when we do finally do that, we often start to realize, that our own needs and our own wants and our own desires aren't actually aligning with like our actions and what we're doing. So it takes time to sort of stop and self-reflect and to actually take a minute to think about your own needs and to put those first. So all of these reasons are why a lot of women don't know early on that they're lesbians, and there are signs. And now when I sit and I look back, I think like, oh, there were so many signs there that I just missed because I didn't know what they were. I didn't know what those feelings meant. Nobody talked about it. Nobody sat and had conversations about, like, when you're middle school, high school with your girlfriends, you're not sitting there asking your girlfriends like, hey, do you find like Sarah attractive? Like, what do you think of her body? Or, you don't talk about that. So you're kind of just left on your own. So I might, as a kid, was thinking like, oh, like that person's attractive, or like, why do I have the desire to like kiss one of my girlfriends? Like maybe everybody feels that way. Maybe that's just how women are, because again, we're caretakers and we're supposed to love and nurture and be there. And I'm thinking, maybe I feel that way because I just want to make sure this person, like I care about them and I want to make sure they're taken care of. Had no idea that the things I was thinking and the thoughts I had and the feelings I had were truly because I was actually probably a very young lesbian figuring out my sexuality, but I didn't know at the time. And honestly, so many women in this situation go through the same things, just not knowing, not realizing at a young age, not understanding what it is that we were feeling and what that actually meant. We don't figure this out until way later. And so it is a real and legitimate thing that many of us truly do not realize our true sexuality until later on in life. Once we finally have the ability to sort of stop and self-reflect and think like, I feel like something actually isn't, right here. And we pay attention to our true feelings and emotions about how we feel towards different genders. So it is a real thing. Now, if you are on this journey and you are going through all of this, please be sure to check the description below the video. I have a whole variety of support and resources available to help you navigate through all of this. Check the link to visit my website, thelatelifelesbian.com. I have a specialized 12-week support program that connects you with other women going through this and helps you build the confidence that you need to embrace who you truly are and come out and live as your true self. And I have some other resources and support available at thelatelifelesbian.com as well. And also be sure to follow and subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you'll be notified whenever I make new videos. Now, thank you so much for watching. I hope this helps on your journey.